All right, guys, how's it going? Liverpool Football Club, it's still for sale. I've decided that, having thought about yesterday's developments, having slept on it last night, having spoken to a couple of people yesterday, and interacted on the Cop Talk VIP members website, which we're going to be looking at some of the stuff from there. I'm going to be talking to you about some of that stuff in this video, which might give you a little bit of, just things to consider. We're going to be talking about dynasty equity. Some people call them dynasty. I'm calling it dynasty, all right? Dynasty equity. This is their team of advisors, whatnot, and or the people involved in the whole setup, the co-founders, Cornwell, Nelson, investors. But we're going to focus on this guy here, David Ginseng, who is a senior advisor from FSG. This is correct. We'll get to that in a minute. It's going to be a long video, I think, and we're going to be all over the place because I am going to have to read some things to jog my own memory as I'm talking to you. So put the kettle on. All right, go on. Still pause it. Put the kettle on. Right. Yesterday, I think many people thought, well, that's the end of that then. In terms of potential club sale. For example. I disagree with that. If anything, I think it makes it look more likely. However, not in the short term. If you've been following my content in the last few weeks, you'll have known that I was of the opinion, not the knowledge, the opinion, just like guesswork, hunches, just the way, what people were saying, but no concrete evidence as such that we would hear something to do with investment at the end of October, early November, all right? And it came a lot earlier than I expected. Well, not a lot earlier, a month earlier maybe, all right? A lot of people thought it was all dead and buried. It had been put to bed. Liverpool was no longer for sale, etc., etc. But I disagree with that. I said, I think, well, maybe here's something towards the end of October, early November. Not necessarily to do with the club sale, but to do with investment. So this dynasty equity stuff yesterday came out of the blue to me. I'm not going to pretend that I knew any different. Why would I know? If you look at any of the so-called hacks, the Liverpool clique of journalists, totally embarrassing themselves yesterday, I think. Because if you watch any of them, some of them have got YouTube channels now because they're trying to be the next Fabrizio Romano, which will never happen. But they're that desperate, that's what they're having to do, some of them. And they just talk a load of guff. To be honest with you, I have more time for a Twitter ITK that knows nothing than a journalist that's been through, maybe through university and thinks they're better than everybody else, right? Some of them do, some good journalists out there. There really is, and we speak about them on here, but I also think there's some pretenders on there. And the way they were chiming in yesterday, like they knew all this was happening, is just a load of absolute guff. Do you know what I mean? So let's not get too bitchy about that. But it's annoying, and friends of mine have commented about the same attitudes, if you like. So this news, I think, came from nowhere. Although I was thinking something might come out a little bit later in the year. Now, this video is going to be a bit like this, where I'm going to be like all over the place trying to remember things, okay? And I've been thinking about doing this video like since late last night. I nearly did it last night, the video. And I've been sat outside this morning having a coffee, thinking about so many different things that I want to say to you, and I bet I forget most of them. So, why do I think Liverpool Football Club is still for sale? Well, first of all, I think that the situation at Manchester United Old Trafford has greatly affected things concerning the valuation of our club and their intentions, because it's obvious that, they're keeping an eye on what's happening there. I think that I think the club remains for sale, but I don't think that there is any urgency on that. I think it's just a case of, I just think they're keeping their options open, right? I do not believe for 1 minute that they've closed the door on a potential sale of Liverpool Football Club, whether that be 3 years from now, 4 years, 5 years from now, whatever. I think that they have every intention of selling the club, absolutely. And every single journalist that reported on this yesterday has said that they have no intentions of selling the club. Well, I'm going to go in a complete different direction of that, and there's lots of reasons why I feel like that. So I already feel like I'm all over the place with the video, so please do forgive me. I feel that they have taken this very minor investment to pay off debt, which makes the club look more attractive. It makes the club a more attractive asset in terms of when coming to selling the club. I commented on the Cop Talk VIP members website this morning. If I can find this post for you, if you are a Cop Talk VIP member, please go to the Executive Lounge and look at the thread titled FSG Secure Investment. And on page 4 of that, at the moment, page 3, one of the first things I said this morning was, having thought about this overnight, I'm still of the opinion that they are looking at a sale, albeit with no urgency. The situation at Manchester United has obviously had a huge impact on the situation. There's no way they have spent a fortune on hiring Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley to explore a sale of the club to then settle for this minority deal. I just can't see it. Rich T, who is a Cop Talk VIP member, who has been a great supporter of my content and Cop Talk for decades, someone that I've met personally in England and someone that I consider a friend. I pay attention to everything he says about finances, club investment, business. He's got ties to certain areas of the world where people have expressed and previously tried to buy Liverpool Football Club, or have expressed an interest to buy the club, or have attempted to at times. A very, very well-educated and experienced person, I think, with this stuff. And I've mentioned him many, many times on YouTube. And if you look in the comments, he'll probably be there somewhere. And I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning this. But, he contributed on the members' website yesterday, saying, now had time to digest this. This could still be preparing for a sale, so the club can be sold cash-free, debt-free. I'm also not sure JP Morgan and Goldman's would have been engaged at some cost to just come up with such a minor investment. Again, this is a similar opinion to myself. I'm going to be all over the place with this video. Another VIP member was saying, I think what this realistically says is that there was not that much interest in the club for a minority investment. For most large private equity players, this is chump change, and probably why we essentially have a no-name investor willing to do the deal. This is what we call in the capital business an optimization, not a transformation. This is a status quo, and the club will essentially clear some of the debt and put some cash in the club's coffers. There will be no major spending, as being mentioned by a number of journos, and at these levels of debt, the cost of service is not going to be too high either. What does this mean for the day-to-day? I think it means salaries gone this coming summer. The club must have known that and decided that the transfer money will prop up any additional spend, and that we have done most of major reinvestment necessary. This is standard FSG operation. There is further commentary on this. Please, again, this is something that, if I'd have tried to prepare this video, one, it wouldn't be that authentic, and two, it would have taken me a long time. There was another comment by Rich that I want to bring to your attention. Another thought, he said, could the failure to land Caicedo and then sell Salah for 200 to 215 million or wherever, 250, whatever you think it was going to be. And using the difference to pay off the loan could have led to this agreement. And that made me think about that quite a bit. It was in the summer, you know that I came to you and I claimed that John Henry, had hit the roof, had got personally involved in, there was if you remember rightly, there was a conference call maybe on the Monday of one of the transfer weeks, one of the weeks during the transfer window, had a conference call, apparently hit the roof with the way things were not happening at the time. I think the very next day, the bid went in for Caicedo, which we were all like, WTF, right? And I remember making videos around the time talking about him appearing in England, suddenly appearing in England. Why the sudden interest in transfers now, John, kind of thing. And my opinion at the time, which wasn't backed up on any claims or anything or any information provided to me, was along the lines of, I think he's getting involved to do with the Caicedo thing, try and get this player in at all costs, shows to the fans that we're trying to do something in case they sold Salah. I think John Henry got involved because of the Mo Salah situation and the interest from Saudi Arabia. And the more you think about it now, the more it makes sense. And that's what Rich is saying here, using the difference, to do with Caicedo and Salah to pay off the loan, right? Or to pay this down. So this is why we didn't see this minor investment deal struck during the summer, or if it was struck, not finalised until after the window had closed, because they wouldn't have done it, right? You would assume that they wouldn't have done it had they signed Caicedo, for example, and sold Salah, used that money. But that didn't happen, right? And then we have Tom Werner appearing, like all this stuff is all related in my opinion, right? And this is based on just common sense and trying to piece it all together, yeah? I'm sorry if I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this video or trying to explain what I'm trying to get across to you, the message here. So I remember saying before the transfer window opened, if they could wing it through the summer without taking major investment, what we thought minor investment was going to be, maybe 500, 600 million quid or something like that, which would have been giving up a big chunk of something. I said, if they can get through the summer and the summer ends, where the fans are not like all going mental, if they could wing it, then they would avoid that kind of investment. And I think that was true. I think I was right with that, because they've gone through, they've not had to give up a lot. The Salah thing hasn't happened, so they've not had that cash, and they've gone, well, what we could do is let one of these two parties, because there was two parties in America, if I remember rightly, let this one in, take a bit of cash, right, and everyone's happy. We've still got the majority. We haven't had to give up a big chunk, if you like, or a sizable chunk, for investment. Right, I think so far you may be with me, I think. If not, please do leave questions in the comment section. I'll try to answer them. It's really, really difficult trying to make this video and make it informative with the amount of information that's circling around my head. Which brings me to dynasty equity, right? Now, I've got that many browsers open here. Now, who we're going to talk about is David Ginsberg here, this chap, okay? We'll click on his profile here. He's described as a senior advisor at Dynasty Equity, right? So, if you remember yesterday, in the official statement on the offal, that I think it was Gordon at Liverpool had said about our long-time working relationship with Dynasty Equity. Well, this is a new company. It's less than a year old, I believe. So I was trying to work out, it sounded a little bit misleading, do you know what I mean? But maybe it wasn't, maybe it was just a little bit of David Ginsberg is part of Dynasty Equity as a senior advisor, and he is FSG, all right? And these people all know each other, right? So if we go back a page and we look at all these different individuals, and there's a lot of them, right? but we're only focusing on this chap. But basically, they've known each other for a long time, right? Okay, so if you are if you're a minor investor and you have, first of all, why do you invest in anything? You invest in something to make money, right? Unless, you're a absolutely extremely wealthy Liverpool fan, you would invest in the club because you love the club, right? I was a shareholder at one time, right? Before the club we had the forced takeover by George Gillette and Tom Hicks. I had to sell up what you had to sell up what you owned of the club, right? And for me, that was never to get a return, right? So if you paid 3,000 for a share and then you were offered 30,000 for the share, I would never have sold it, even though that money would be, a really big fucking deal to me. Do you know what I mean? Because when I was a young lad, as a Liverpool supporter, I always wanted to have a share in Liverpool Football Club. Not 10 shares, not 100, just a share. It was the biggest thing that I could ever do. But it was more important to me than my season tickets, right? It was like a big deal to me as a young man. But normally, if you invest in something, you do so to make a return on your investment, right? That's the whole point of investing, yeah? So if you are a minor investor in a company, you don't even have any real input or decision, or in the decision-making process, right? So what's the point? So the sole point is to get a return on that investment, unless you maybe represent a country, like in the Middle East or something, tourism links and things like that, because you can then, we're investors at Liverpool Football Club, we can take you over, we can have slap-up meals and really put everything on, do you know what I mean, to securing £1 billion of investment in a country. But this isn't a country, right? This is nothing to do with tourism or that kind of thing, right? This is a private company that exists to make money. So why have they invested in Liverpool Football Club? Right? We're told that FSG don't take money out of the club, don't pay dividends or whatever. So you're putting your money in, but we don't intend to take any money out, is basically what FSG say, right? So why have these people, they're not thick, right? So I think it also, this guy is the most important one in the whole thing, I think, right? Because he is FSG and he's an advisor to the company, Dynasty Equity, that just invested in Liverpool Football Club, which FSG obviously owns, right? So I think it's fair to say that he's got a good idea of FSG's intentions. Would you agree with that? We're going to read a little bit about him. I prepared this one earlier. I've already clicked on it. Look, seen it? Clever, aren't I? Right. So David Ginsberg is a senior advisor at Dynasty Equity. He is the vice chairman of Fenway Sports Group, the holding company that owns the Boston Red Sox, New England Sports Network, and Liverpool Football Club, a controlling interest in the Pittsburgh Penguins, and is a partner in Roche Fenway Keselowski Racing. David also serves as vice chairman of the Boston Red Sox and vice chairman of Liverpool Football Club. David has served as a vice chairman of FSG since its inception in 2002 and was a key player in the analysis, financing, negotiation, and execution of FSG's acquisitions of the Red Sox, NESN, LFC, RFK, the Penguins, and John Henry's sale of the Florida Marlins. David is primarily responsible for arranging, structuring, and negotiating FSG's and its subsidiaries' credit facilities and works on FSG's M&A activity, capital events, and investments. David was previously a managing director at Raptor Group, most recently overseeing plans to build a new football stadium in Rome for AS Roma until December 2018, managing director of the Special Opportunities Group at Tudor Investment Corp, a managing director at Global Asset Management in London, special advisor to the chairman and a director at John W. Henry and Company, and vice chairman of the Florida Marlins. Makes me sick, all this, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with being successful in life and having all these connections and positions and all that. I ain't got a problem with that. I'm not one of these bitter people in life. I'm really I'm all for business. But what I mean is when you read all that and you just think that Liverpool Football Club is really just like just something that's in there with all this stuff. Does that make sense to you? I just don't like the way it doesn't matter. He could be a very nice man, and I'm not criticising it. I am very pro-business, I'm not one of these people that's bitter about wealthy people or anything, right? What I'm trying to say is he's not involved with Liverpool Football Club because he loves the club, all right? And anyone that thought that would be naive. Anyway, speaking the obvious, just don't like it. David has an MBA from the Boston University Graduate School of Management and a BA from Kenyon College, okay? So, David is a very well-educated, very experienced guy when it comes to negotiating sales and whatnot. He is vice chairman of Liverpool Football Club and has served as vice chairman of FSG since 2002. He's a key player. That's what it says here, okay? So, this fucker knows what FSG's intentions are because he is FSG and he's now part of, an advisor, senior advisor to Dynasty Equity. So, in my opinion, and I have absolutely nothing to back this up, Dynasty Equity have invested into Liverpool Football Club, right, because they know the club's going to be sold, right? Because this guy's told them that, allegedly, my opinion only, right? And the FSG whole setup have said, look, because they've said this is our intentions, this is what we want to do. If you say to Dynasty Equity, well, we don't really, we're not going to sell the club. We have no intentions of selling the club. What would be the point of Dynasty Equity getting involved? Because FSG don't take money out, right? So how did Dynasty Equity make money then? They don't need it for PR and to sell things in a specific country or whatever you want to say. The only way they're going to make money, Dynasty Equity, unless I'm missing something here, is when they sell their stake in Liverpool Football Club. And how do they do that? Liverpool Football Club, the asset, has to grow in value to achieve that, right? And then you've got to find someone that wants to invest in a minor scale. Anyway, no one does that. I remember that many, many times before when Liverpool Football Club was up for sale, probably... when Dubai and all that was interested. And you remember that I was quite close to someone involved in the process of buying Liverpool Football Club. They were a Cop Talk VIP member and everything. Please don't mention their name in the comments. And, I was getting running commentary of, Liverpool were trying to do, maybe it was when they were trying to get FSG. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember when it was. I'm sure it was around then. But I certainly know that person involved once said to me, be realistic, who's going to pay, a minor investment amount? It just doesn't make sense. It's all or nothing. Big companies that want to, buy football clubs, they want the whole lot. The minor investment thing is just pointless unless you know that you can make money from it. Now, can Liverpool's value increase? I guess so. The European Super League is something that, or whatever it's going to be called, or whatever happens, is something that's heavily on FSG's mind. It has to be. It's coming up in this discussion on the Cop Talk members website all the time. So in my opinion, Ginsberg and FSG have sat down with Dynasty Equity, which he's on here, he's part of our team, right? And they've told them what their plans are. And they'll have said, right, this is the plans what we're going to do. We're looking at cashing in that time frame, which means we'll make an absolute fucking killing, as will you guys. They've paid off the debt. They've used the funds, a very, very small investment, to pay off any debt, which makes the club more attractive to a potential buyer and increases the value of the asset. And Mr. FSG here is linked in with Dynasty Equity, who know they're going to make a killing. That's it. I think it's that simple. I really do. I don't think Liverpool Football Club is... the future of the club has been resolved because of this minor investment. It's fucking pocket money. Do you know what I mean? And this company, as we discussed in yesterday's video, their entire, intentions are to invest in or do multiple investments, in franchises, which I hate saying. The fact that he is part of Dynasty Equity, if you like, is just so glaringly obvious to me as to what the future is about, what's going to happen. Now, was there anything else that I need to go over with you. I mean, you know, the journalists that are trying to tell us that, you know, I don't know, they just get right on my tits, to be honest with you guys. I've got time for the likes of Joyce and Ornstein and stuff, but the rest of them is just, why does it bother me so? It bothers me so much because I think naive football supporters look up to some of these people and think and trust them. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying they deceive, deliberately deceive, but I watched a video of a journalist yesterday and it's just chatted shit from start to finish. Like, you could have sat there and done the same thing. I do it every day. I chat shit every day. I get it. But I'm not a professional. I'm just a football fan. I ain't got a clue about finance. I can't manage my own fucking finances. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea about equity and fucking hedge funds and all. I ain't got a fucking clue. But it's something that we've had to do as Liverpool supporters in recent times, right? So maybe I need to try and go over it again in the video. I don't know if I've explained to you. There is absolutely no proof whatsoever that anything I'm saying will happen. Nobody's said this is their plan. It's pure speculation on my part, and I'll be the first person to put my hands up to that. But I'm telling you something right now. In the 25 years I've been here, most of it, guys, is just common sense. You can picture it. And the more knowledge you've got about who's related to who, because yesterday, I guarantee you that most people never even heard of this fucker, right? And most casual fans reading about the deal today will not know that FSG, one of FSG's main men, is part of it. Do you know what I mean? So knowledge, trying to piece it together, then, you know, he won't like me saying this, but expert, you know, opinion from the likes of Rich, you know, just go, like, I think things and think, yeah, Rich, you're right, yeah. Do you know what I mean? FSG, there's no way that they hired those companies to secure a minor investment like this. And it was only a week or two ago, maybe 2 weeks ago now, I can't remember, that I was told that those companies were still on the lookout, you know, for potential investment and or sale, right? Which, if this was already going to happen with them, why would they be doing that? Because I don't think this changes anything, to be honest with you. I don't think that John Henry and our friend David here or anybody else is sat there going, right, well, let's sell the club. Actually, I don't think they're actively doing that. I think they winged it through something. For every single thing I said, I think, and I'm not trying to give it fucking, you know, the biggest E-penis and that, but running up to the summer, I think I've been spot on with it. I do. I don't get any prizes for that. But I just think it all falls into place. If they wing it through the summer, there won't be this huge investment, which there wasn't. The John Henry getting involved, the crazy Casado bid, because I think they thought Salah might go, would have, if they'd have sold Salah, would they even have finalised this deal? Which explains why it's been finalised now after the transfer window's closed. Right? So then they've gone, well, we haven't got the Salah money, so we'll do a bit with these. We'll tell Dynasty Equity that this is a, you know, if you're going to sell yourself or a business, you want someone to invest in you, you have to sell it to them, right? They don't just come up and give you money, you know? So they've had to be told the reasons why you should invest. So FSG are telling them, this is why it's a good investment for you. Because these people are not thick as two short planks, all right? It might be a fairly new company. We have significant investment, transaction, and operating experience in sports. These people are not idiots. They know what they're doing, all right? So there has been a conversation or a series of conversations along the lines that says this is how you're going to get your money back. Because you don't invest in something if you're not going to get your money back, right? I mean, you don't know investments, so you're going to go up and down, right? But FSG have told them something. And not only that, they've got FSG involved. right? So, is the valuation of Liverpool Football Club really going to go up based on future TV deals? I'm not so sure about that. The money from a possible European Super League, which shows you why they were so hungry in the first place. If there isn't a European Super League, the whole thing isn't as attractive to FSG long term. They've took a stab at it. They've invested because they've been told what's going to happen. But we don't know what they've been told. We can only summarise and speculate. This man knows. For sure. For sure. And if you listen, this ain't a ploy to get you to become a Cop Talk VIP member, right? But we have 4 pages on there now discussing the ins and outs of this, and every single person that's involved in this situation. And the input from the other members, the VIP members, is critical. My guess is that FSG intend to stay to see out a new Super League iteration. There's something that is a strong possibility. I thought it might have been a slightly bigger stake. This really is a minor investment. Rich T. Funds usually like this look at a 3 to 5 year exit plan, which might be concerning to some of you because you might be saying, well, I want to sell now. That's not going to happen now. I don't think it's going to happen immediately. However, what happens at Old Trafford could change things significantly because people that might be watching that situation, there will be investors. It's not just about Liverpool Football Club watching Manchester United to see the value they get if it's sold, right? There'll be potential investors that might have one eye on Liverpool Football Club that'll be watching to see what happens there, to see if it's worth getting involved, right? Did it really take a year to source an investment worth about 3% of the club? This has to be a great anticlimax. Exactly. So why did they spend so much money and have still got these companies trying to seek out, let's call it investors or buyers or whatever? JP Morgan and Goldsman, of course. And Rich T saying again, not sure that JP Morgan and Goldman's would have been engaged at this, at some cost to just come up with such a minor investment. It's fishy as fuck, guys. That's a good point. It's good to have your insight on these matters. Rich T71, are you telling you, man? Look out for him in the comment section. Come back to this video later. Thanks, Dunk, for pulling all the details together. Very helpful. It's really like an anticlimax from nearly a year ago to be on the market for full sale to then be on the lookout for a strategic partner with a minority investment to grow the LFC brand, not the club. And again, bringing up the pandemic costs, like we've been the only club to be hit with financial losses during the pandemic. It feels like hearing this every couple of months is almost like a pandemic in itself. I think that's what it says. Like you say, Rich T, FSG still could be setting up an exit plan. But I think they could have one eye on the ESL in TV deals. And this investment helps prolong the exit if you get what I'm trying to say. Always keeping their options open or cards close to their chest. It feels like we're always bringing in a spud gun to the war and everyone else is using machine guns like this investment does now for anyone on the front line. It did occur to me that this partnership would transfer nicely into an NBA franchise in the near future. I still can't see them remaining for long with transfer fees escalating so quickly. They've not been comfortable with them in the past, so they'll choke on the prices in the future. So I think I've really covered probably what I wanted to say. this amount of investment doesn't do anything for them in reality. I guess that means FSG. As others have said, if it pays for the debt, then great. It makes us look better for a sale. It does, in my opinion, point to a future that I predicted before that doesn't bode well for LFC, and that's one where we are sold piece by piece by piece to God knows how many different investors, because in reality that's what will get FSG most bang for their buck. The question has to be asked, if we really have to pull Mike Gordon away from his job of running the club, causing more disruption a year ago to secure this level of investment? It seems bonkers, if I'm being honest. It's a great move for FSG, probably frees up maybe, 20 million in repayment fees for the club, but will not result in an increased transfer kitty for their manager. So from a fan's point of view, the best reaction is, and then there's an emoji saying, like, what the fuck kind of thing. It's what's next and how many of these we will have that concerns me, if I'm being honest. At this rate, they can do this 4 times, only lose 12% of the business, and receive double what they actually paid for the club business-wise. It's brilliant. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if you've made sense of any of this, guys. I do apologise if I've not done a very good job of it. It is extremely difficult trying to convey so many people's different thoughts and opinions, my own opinions. I know that to many of you, you care about the ownership of the club. And it's an area that I've not really wanted to go into recently because it drains me. I prefer to talk about transfer speculation. I prefer to talk about how the team are doing well. And the team has started well, right? So this kind of stuff in the background is not really something that I want to talk about, but it's unavoidable. And there will be many of you that have formed the opinion, that's it, the matter's over, because you might listen to some of these journalists that say the club was never for sale. There was no interest in Liverpool Football Club. That's what some of these planks tell you. One of the most successful football clubs in the world, and there was no interest. Yet everybody wanted to, well, not everybody. Yet there was multiple people interested in buying Newcastle, Chelsea, Manchester United, Tottenham will probably be, up for something. Nobody would want Liverpool. And then this is why I don't like the journalists. Most of them. Some of them are very good, and some of them aren't. And like I say, I watched one of them yesterday in a video. I was screaming at the TV. So fucking. Anyway, I know most of you have got your hopes upon the club being sold, and you're probably thinking that's it now. It's not going to happen. I would strongly disagree with that opinion. That's the reason I'm making the video. It clears the debts. It makes the club look far more attractive. It puts value on the club. And these people have invested dynasty equity have invested based on knowledge from this chap and others at FSG. That's what I think. And unless you can tell me how they're going to make their money without there being a club sale, then how they're obviously in for that reason, because they know Liverpool Football Club is going to be sold. But when? As Rich said, or maybe someone else said, and most people know, they're going to look for a return on their investment in probably 3 to 5 years or something like that. So yes, it delays all that, and it means it's not going to happen anytime soon. And maybe because it's so far away, you're not even interested now. But the other thing you've got to imagine is that means probably in 3 to 5 years, then there's people start to say, what we're going to do, right? It doesn't mean that something can't happen before then. Because if the United sorted out and then people start sniffing around Liverpool, then people like this start asking questions. Dynasty equity saying, well, are we going to flog up then or what? Because we'll get our money back. We made a few bob. Everyone's happy. Dave's got a big kickback as well. There's a good old Dave there, you know what I mean? Ultimately, I find, we can have a laugh and a giggle about it all. I don't like the thought of these people. LeBron James was the first one for me. Couldn't give a about LeBron James. Just chucking bits of the club around here and there and everywhere to people that just want to screw the club for money, really. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they want it to be successful because that means their investment's successful. And just because you're an investor doesn't mean you're a bad person, right? You know what I mean? Like, by default, it doesn't mean that. We have to stop that attitude of like successful people are bad people. Like, you know, just because if we're peasants, it doesn't mean, you know, we can't just have that level of resentment. I take my hat off to people that have done well in life. It's fucking hard. You know what I mean? Trying to get through life. We all know that. And if they've been blessed to do it, then fair play to them. What I mean is, one share in Liverpool Football Club to a supporter probably means everything, like their entire everything. It did to me, you know. But to these, it's just, we'll buy a bit of that, we'll buy a bit of that, we'll buy a bit of that, we'll make loads of money. It's just fucking greed. Or is it greed? Maybe I'm being totally unfair because, you know, these people have set up a business to make money, and maybe it's not greed, maybe they're just going to do whatever. I don't know. But I do know that they're based in New York City, and I'm going to New York City. I set off next week. They're on Park Avenue. I was thinking about that. But I'm not going to reach out to them because they won't let me anywhere near the place. I know that straight away. And I'm not really sure there's anything I'd want to ask them anyway. But what I can do is, while I'm in New York City, I will be speaking to some important people while there, and I'll be asking about these people on the team. You know, and primarily the two co-founders, which is Jonathan Nelson and K. Don Cornwall. You know, well, I don't want to give the impression that anyone here is doing anything wrong or has got bad intentions. They're just business people. And for all we know, they could have more care about Liverpool Football Club than FSG. I just think they're all investors and they probably don't give a fuck, to be honest with you. But there you go. But I just want to make it clear, this isn't an anti-FSG video, an anti-Dynasty Equity video. This isn't anti-anyone. We're just trying to look at the facts. And in my opinion, is that Liverpool Football Club definitely remains on the market because those companies are still employed by them, as far as we're aware. I never believe in a million years that there's no interest in the club. I think we have to watch what happens at Old Trafford. Yes, short term, you would now not expect anything to happen, but never say never. But for those of you that think that's the end of the matter, and the journalists were peddling this shit yesterday, saying that's it now, that's it, it's put an end to speculating, this, all that. You haven't put an end to nothing. If anything, having thought about it all, I now think that this suggests that FSG do intend to exit. Because that's why they've brought these people in, and these people have invested knowing that's going to happen at some point. That's it. That's all I've got for you. All right. I sincerely apologise if I haven't done a very good video. I'm not a professional. I'm just a football fan. I have no idea about much of it, to be honest, in terms of finances and that. I ain't got a clue. You know what I mean? But if you did enjoy the effort or the information, maybe. What you've learned, I'm sure you've learned a little bit in this video. I think I must have done. Please do thumbs up the video. I appreciate that. Please leave a comment. That's the most important thing, is the comments, because they get me through my day. I like to see what you guys are thinking. I know you're probably thinking, no, you don't. No, I fucking do. I read every single comment. Excuse me. And it's good to see the familiar faces. You know, there's a few comments left on yesterday's video saying, no, we're still here, Dunk. Because I said yesterday, well, now the transfer window's died, you know, the video views, they go down, and, you know, it's like, all right, what shall I do now then? You know, so I could have made this video just for the channel supporters and members, but I thought it was an important one. I did, I think it's important. And, yeah, so leave a comment if you want to get me a drink or a coffee. Hit the thanks button on the video. It's always appreciated. I acknowledge everyone. You can join the channel. It's in the video description. You can become a supporter or a member. Or if you really want to make my day, become a VIP member. And if you've ever thought about doing that, do it in winter, because winter's difficult. And we're probably entering winter now. So that's it. If you've got any questions, please do leave them in the video comment section. I think I've said everything I wanted to say. If I start talking about it again, I'll go over the whole lot again, but I definitely think it all falls into place. I hope you paid attention to the bits, or I certainly want you to consider the bits where I said about John Henry, why did John Henry get involved? Why did he hit the roof? Why was he suddenly bothered about transfers this summer? Because I think he had his eye on that Mo Salah money, which might have then meant they didn't need to do something with these lot. I don't know. But with the FSG guy being involved with them, it does make you wonder if that was always on the cards. But they could have announced this at any time, but they waited till after the summer transfer window. I think there's lots of points in this video that you can consider. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll go because I feel like I'm waffling on now. Have a great weekend. I'll be live later on here, guys. Okay. And then maybe after you've watched the video, maybe you want to come along and give your thoughts in the live video. That'd be very cool. You know, I'll be on a live stream later and you can come along and talk to me. And that's it. I'm going away next week, next Tuesday. I'm going to America to see my best friend, Smooth. I've not seen him for 4 years. So I'm looking forward to that. I will be making my videos and working as usual on Cop Talk every day. It's not a holiday. Well, I don't know. People go on holiday and don't work. I work every day, so it's not a holiday. You know, I mean, I won't be like turning my back on my responsibilities to you guys. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be here as normal, just in a different time zone. That's all. And that's it. All right, guys. Please, did I give you some food for thought in that video? If it was a fail, tell me, and I can delete it. But if you think that the video was informative, please do let me know. You know what I mean? All right, I'll speak to you in a bit, I hope.